Today is one of the worst days that I've had in a long time.
Unfortunately, João Pereira loses again. 2-1 to Moreirense. Our best attacking output, our best attacking performance in the whole game was a penalty. I love João Pereira. Do not get me wrong. He was a fantastic servant to the club. I don't see any of this as his fault. He was pushed in a position that he was not ready for. But at the same time, he has to hand in his resignation. If he does love the club as much as he says he does, he needs to go.
He has to go, blood. He has to go, blood.
And on the flip side of that, if Frederico Varandas, the sporting president, loves the club and wants to do right by the club, admit your mistakes and get rid of João Pereira at this point, because we've lost 3 games in a row, something that hasn't happened since 2019. And fair enough, one of those was against Arsenal. Arsenal, a very good team, fair enough. But losing to Santa Clara, not scoring a goal. Losing to Moreirense, again, scoring 1 goal, which is a penalty. Having no plan, no idea, no philosophy, no leadership in the team. What more can we afford to lose at this point of the season? Right now, Porto are going to level on points. If they beat Famalicão on the weekend, they'll be level on points with us. And this is a horrible Porto season. People saying Vitor Bruno should be sacked. Villas-Boas doesn't know what he's doing. And they're going to be level on points with us. Benfica are going to be 2 points behind us with a game in hand. We were unbeaten 2 game weeks ago. And now look what has happened. Because a poor decision by Frederico Varandas has ultimately, at this point, might have cost Sporting the title. And this is filmed directly after the game. It's actually midnight. I film a podcast about this as well. So if you aren't familiar, that will be in the description as well. But from what I saw today, and from what I saw against Santa Clara, what I saw against Arsenal, what is the plan? Can someone tell me what João Pereira's game plan is? You can't, because there is none. It just feels like he's saying, you know what, just go play football. But it's just not working. There's just, oh man, this is such a tough point right now, because I've been through this before, don't get me wrong. I've been a Sporting fan for all my life, 25 years on this planet. Someone said that, I look bad for 25 years. First of all, rude. Second of all, it's because I support this club, man. It does crazy things. It's aged me by many years. But I just don't understand how we can accept mediocrity, because under Ruben Amorim, we accepted nothing but the best. We were good pretty much every game. Of course, we lost games against teams like Santa Clara, and we lost teams against like Famalicão and Marítimo, things like that. But there was always a philosophy. There was always a plan. There was always a silver lining that we can still do well. And I just don't see it under João Pereira. Part of that is because he's not actually the manager. He sits on the bench and lets someone else does his talking. And people said in the last video, but Ruben Amorim did this. Ruben Amorim didn't have any coaching badges at the time. But we're no longer rebuilding. This is a team that should be competing on all fronts. There is no excuse for what happened today and against Santa Clara. There is no excuse to hiring a manager who is not qualified to do his job, who's only been a manager for less than a year of a B team in the 3rd division. Sporting's B team isn't even in the 2nd division of Portugal. They're in the 3rd division. So Porto B and Benfica B in the 2nd division, but Sporting B are not. So it's just crazy. And I think I said it last video, I'm pretty sure, that everyone said Frederico Varandas and Hugo Viana's big test would be if Ruben Amorim leaves. Who would be the successor? Because this is what the club is riding on at the moment. Who is going to be the successor? And right now, Frederico Varandas has failed. And I said it before, I love João Pereira. I don't see mainly any of this being his fault. I just feel like he was put in a situation where it was destined to fail. What else can he do? If someone came to me and said, Sam, you know what, do you want to take the Sporting job? I'd be like, yeah, sure. I probably won't put myself in a position to succeed. But what's João Pereira supposed to say? Yeah, no thanks, I'm not ready. Of course he's going to take that job. He has to take that job. But why was he even offered it in the first place? I mentioned it before. There are so many managers that are available on a free, or show some ambition like Man United did and buy a manager. You showed ambition when you bought Ruben Amorim in the first place. Bear in mind, he was an unproven coach, but you spent 10 million on an unproven coach. You showed some ambition. There was no ambition with João Pereira. It was almost like trying to copy and paste. I mentioned it before. Sergio Conceição, I don't know if it would work at Sporting, but at least give him a call. Maybe. Abel is about to lose the league, I think, or be knocked out of Libertadores with, or he's lost Libertadores with Palmeiras. Get him in, man. He loves Sporting, or he did when he was here. But, show some ambition. You said that you tried to hire Unai Emery and Jose Mourinho and all these guys, but you just go with João Pereira. And again, not a knock on João Pereira. I love the guy, but I don't understand. This game against Moreirense, I've never seen a 90 minutes so bad. We showed no passion, no vision. I'm not trying to quote the meme. But there was just no idea. There was no philosophy in this team. There was no clear plan of what the game plan was, apart from, just play football. That is not a good enough plan. And Vladan Kovacevic, again, I'm not one to blame just one person, but how can you be a goalkeeper and concede that? I mean, we're all human, we make mistakes, but the first goal he conceded, he's flat-footed, he just lets the ball go past him. The second one, not really his fault, but again, I still think he's flat-footed, he should do a bit better. Just the whole team, I'm looking at it now, Jenny Katamo, one of the worst games of his career. Mateus Reis, the same. Diamonde just looks so out of sorts. He's so aggressive, and I've never seen it from him, not in a good way. You could be aggressive in a good way in a football pitch, like, like a Roy Keane or like a Gattuso, but Diamonde was reckless, dangerous, getting yellow cards, not in this game, but against Arsenal, getting yellow cards. In this game, he was reckless as well. Gyökeres, again, I mean, he scored a penalty, but he didn't really have much to do. To be fair, the Moreirense defenders were very good. Trincao played poor. Bragança played poor. And of course you can, like I said, João Pereira is the manager. But what happened to the team I saw that dismantled Man City 4-1? A team that went to Porto and beat them at 2-0. Where is that team that I saw? Because it's a new manager, right? But it's not new players. And I know we're missing Pedro Gonçalves, and that's fair enough. I've likened Pedro Gonçalves' impact to Sporting, like Martin Odegaard's impact to Arsenal. I'm not comparing them. I'm not saying they're similar players or anything like that. But in terms of just taking one out of the squad and you see how different they play, Pedro Gonçalves is a facilitator. He's a creator. When we don't have him, Gyökeres isn't found as much. Trincao doesn't have a lot of space to roam. Even guys on the wings like Mateus Reis and Jenny don't have that much room to run forward because Bragança couldn't find the same balls and couldn't make the same space and couldn't take on the same opponents that Pedro Gonçalves does. But yeah, man, it is a difficult point. And the team selection, I mean, I just don't see how Mateus Reis starts a game like this. How, you leave Maxi Rougeau on the bench when he's been decent enough. Giovanni Kenda was left on the bench as well. He took so long to make subs. When did he make his last sub? I think it was, let me double check actually. He made his first subs in the 65th minute and then made his second subs in the 78th minute. And he had one sub remaining and didn't think, you know what? Maybe I should bring someone on like Marcus Edwards. Maybe I should bring on someone like Fresneda or, Ivan Gaio or João Simões because we just needed something. We needed something else. And he didn't bring anyone on. But he waited till the 77th minute to bring Conrad Harder on, a striker, when Trincao and Bragança were playing so poorly. Mateus Reis lost the whole 90 minutes out to Trincao. But how? Because the game before against Santa Clara, you bring Edwards off and Giovanni after 45 minutes of playing badly. So it's either you keep the same sort of criteria for everyone else or you don't. Like, why were these players left in when they had such a poor game? But regardless of the game itself, and I said it at the start of the video, and I'm going to say it towards the end of the video, João Pereira, I love you as a player. You are a fantastic player for us. You're a fantastic servant. I do not blame any of you. I don't blame any of this on you. This is Varandas' fault, upper management's fault for putting you in a position to do this. And I guess Ruben Amorim's fault for leaving too. Like I said last video, do not blame him for leaving. Of course, he has to take that step. At the same time, he did leave Sporting in a bit of a bad position. But guess what? Who put Ruben Amorim's release scores so low? It was Federico Varandas. Who gave João Pereira the job? It was Federico Varandas. So, for me, I don't know. If João Pereira loved this club, he'd resign. If Federico Varandas was the president he thinks he is and says he is, he would admit his mistake and sack João Pereira in the morning and get someone in, like Abel, like Sergio Conceição, like anyone else, I suppose. Someone who is qualified to be a manager of a big club like Sporting. Someone, you look at how tempting the job looked when Amorim left. You know, Sporting are second in the Champions League. They're first in the league. They're in all competitions. Fast forward 2 weeks later, who is looking at the job now saying, oh, Sporting are about to fall into second place in the league. You know, they lost their last Champions League game 5-1. They lost 2 games in a row in the league. Oh, it doesn't look like a job that anyone would want to go to anymore because it's just not appealing. Why would it be? Why would someone want to go, especially a high-level manager? I mentioned it last week. I think we could maybe have a shot back then of bringing someone like Graham Potter in, Sergio Conceição in, a Bell in, any of these managers that have a club or are free agents. We could bring them in. But now, Graham Potter's not going to come there, especially when the West Ham job might open up or the Wolves job might open up or something like that. Same with Sergio Conceição. He could go to easily like an AC Milan. He could go to Brazil. Sergio Conceição could go pretty much anywhere. Everton, I've seen him linked to as well. The job isn't as appealing anymore because Veranda's ruined it. And like I said, I don't blame it all on João Pereira. Some of it is of course to blame, but not his fault. It is not João Pereira's fault. But if he loved the club, he would resign. I'm currently filming this at midnight on Friday, so the game's just finished. I'm filming this now. I never want to see someone lose a job, but unfortunately, João Pereira, it's going to get worse if you stay. It's going to get worse for you. It's going to get worse for the club, the players, and the board and the fans. So, João Pereira, I do love you, but unfortunately, I think you need to resign.